Hello everyone, welcome to Cashflow Digital again. Do check out ODYS. You can still get that $500 bonus for an age domain. So grab them while you can, because they are quickly selling like hotcakes.
That's what the ladies tell me. Grab them while you can. All right, go ahead.
It's not very long.
But also, guys, let us know where you're from. If you've got any questions, we will be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. But yeah, so we do have questions that Mike does have. Or
I don't even know where he's posting these fucking forms. He's just like, I've got questions.
Dude, actually, I had a question about what I wanted. I saw you you were talking about black hat tactics, and actually, I thought today we might dispel some myths. But I wanted to know like what you went over, dude. Not like the topics, but like were you just showing what to, like talking about topics? What did you do, dude?
And so that's just an old video, just a compilation of some funny shit that was done over the years. So like I had a business a few years back that we basically had premium numbers on there. So we used to just rank for like the bank plus customer service. We had premium numbers on there, made a shit ton of money, which is not outrageously black hat, but it is. But there's some other stuff
it's blacker hat if you do that on GMB. That will get some affiliate accounts shut down. I've seen some friends do that. So,
but there was other stuff like bait and switch methods, various other bits and bobs. You know, a lot of it.
Nothing as serious as like clickbait or anything like that, where you make the clicks and shit.
Yeah. No, you can, well, yeah, that kind of happened. There's a John Bukkake story there where we made you know that story?
Today on Cashflow Digital, we've got a Bukkake story.
Have you actually heard that story though, for real?
No.
I know.
It sounds familiar though, dude, but I don't know. I'm a little scared, man.
It wasn't actually me. It was one of my friends. So, a guy called Peter Van de Graaf, and years ago he was asked by a Japanese porn company to rank them for Bukkake. Obviously, trying to get links for Bukkake was never going to work. So he put up this website, which was Dr.
I know what you're talking
about. And literally had all of these authority links from medic white papers and everything. And this Dr. John Bukkake blew up, and then obviously he was showing the user one thing, showing Google something else, and using that to power up his website. So that's all
very well,
actually. So yeah, shit like that.
He was able to rank for Bukkake, just the single term.
Yeah,
it's pretty badass. Yeah.
But that guy is a monster.
It's a cool talk. It's actually a good tactic because realistically, if you think just take theater, you know, you've got a play with Shakespeare, or you've got like Michael J. Fox theater, right? As long as you can get the relevance in there and start shifting it, like it's like doing link trades and cloaking out one side of the link trade, so you're getting the one-way links. And something that students have done, something that I've done in the past, is just turning two-way links into one-ways. So when you can build that relevance, especially if you're grabbing links in one place from a related business that's potentially a competitor, and then pushing it through a filter over through a 301 to your stuff. It's a great way to do it. You got to do this, Brad, with your hands when you do it. Make the links happen, dude. Hey, what's up, Holly? I was looking at Gary Farmer's stuff on Facebook when I was looking at your post. All of a sudden, Gary popped up, and now here's Gary. The universe is like that, dude. It's weird.
Gary, in case you didn't know, Mike has been.
I was stalking you, bro. I was stalking you. I saw a comment. It's weird. So myths, though, black hat SEO myths. Let's jump into those, and then we'll jump into some. If I didn't lose my notes, that is.
To rank in YouTube, do you have to say black hat SEO myths to rank for black hat SEO myths? Can you keyword black hat SEO myths?
Right. So how long do you think it would take us to rank this video for black hat SEO myths?
Should we try it?
Should we try and rank for black hat SEO myths?
I think we should try and rank for black hat SEO myths.
I think I want to see people comment black hat SEO myths. Please show me some black hat SEO myths.
Let's go. First myth. Let's go into this. So let's look at buying backlinks. Okay, this is a black hat technique.
Is that a black hat tactic? Is that what we're considering Black Hat right now?
What's that?
Is that what we're considering Black Hat right now?
I don't consider it Black Hat, but this is a Black Hat tactic. This is what you'll find on the major websites about Black Hat SEO. And it says it is against the guidelines and that Google tracks those links. So what are your thoughts, Craig?
I don't think Google can track jack shit if you avoid your footprints. You know, link buying, I don't care who the fuck you are. Everyone's buying links unless you're some douchebag that's never going to make money.
If you're buying ads on a site, you're buying links.
Yeah, you are.
What was the Yahoo link a few years ago from a colleague? That was his silver bullet.
Yeah, that was it was actually on the root domain that they were selling. But I mean, it's a good point that everyone sells freaking backlinks, dude.
So Yahoo.com was selling a link. It was a 10,000 a month link, but apparently it's supposed to.
It worked. I mean, there's traffic all over it, and it generates funds. I think it did a good job for them. Now, here's the thing: tracking paid links. I think this is I think people spin this on purpose to make people worry. I don't know about that. I'll keep stalking you, bro, and we'll find out. I'm gonna start rating it. I'm gonna have a little book going on about crazy.
Bookmark his profile on your web browser.
I have
and screenshots and everything. Yeah.
So they track things like, okay, we found this network and we're going to look into this manually. Like there's a manual team that yes, footprints. They can find shit in the code that, like some of the SAPE code that inserts, at least they used to insert. And I think they still do because I still find it in some profiles, but I don't know if it's everything. But there's definitely footprints with certain link services where you absolutely can see that in the source code. But if you're smart about where you're buying links and how you're buying links, it's not really an issue.
Would you still consider it buying links for a PBN type situation? Like if you're buying the site specifically to build links, is that still considered that? Or is that another Black Hat tactic that
I'm sure that's another Black Hat tactic on the list. But I guess if you control it and you pay for it, you're buying links. I saw that. I thought it said OnlyFans, dude. Now it's in my head.
I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Free products for links, okay? What about whether you are giving, taking, exchanging free products or discounts for links is a Black Hat tactic and should be no followed to let Google know that it's a naughty link.
Who's seen this? That is insanity. Why should it be no followed? Where are you reading this from? That's what
this is actually an article. We're going right off of an article on Search Engine Journal, dude.
Fuck me, man.
It was released. Let's see. I think it was today, March 22nd. So it came out yesterday. It's a 9-minute read. We're on number 2.
Jesus, really? It just came out yesterday?
Yeah, this came out yesterday.
Is it loud as crap? Because my wife scheduled for them to apparently pressure wash the house in the middle of this show. All right,
I can't hear anything, dude.
All right, cool. It's quiet now. Good.
So it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that shit's been happening for as far as I can remember. Bribing or giving a gift or whatever it might be. So why someone would take the time to write that just now and deem it Black Hat is...
It's crazy. It's I think some of these people sometimes, and I know that people have knowingly done this in the past. They say they give you all the tactics they're using and then reprimand them and scare the shit out of you so you won't use them so they can continue using them. I wholeheartly feel that a lot of the those type sites are doing that,
Yeah. It's the whole, it's think about it like the Amazon and review stuff, giving away free product for reviews. People don't want you to manipulate their algorithm. I get it. But calling something Black Hat, which realistically to me is something that's illegal. But it doesn't make any sense to me that you would no follow a link like that. There's absolutely, for everyone out there that's new, there's no way Google's going to figure out if you gave away a product in exchange for a backlink.
Even if you write this if you write this company, you sent me this product for free, and I'm now backlinking to them, they still will not penalize you.
No, they still ain't going to figure it out unless they come around and they see you doing that 1,000 million times and the manual team's on your ass or something. It's not going to matter. That algorithm is not intelligent, you know?
Yeah. I actually, I was telling you, Mike, I read Google's 10K. I know you're into reading patents, so I figured, I'll read a 10K. And it's going through, and they're talking about like they're big on their AI and they're proud of Bert in there, and it's fucking hilarious,
Oh, were they really?
Like yeah, they mentioned Bert specifically.
Bert and Ernie, dude. Black Hat is if the gift is crap, dude. It's just not. What if you could make the gift disappear? That would be perfect, because like cloaking, right? You send the gift and it comes back.
I would send them a black hat and then make it disappear.
That's exactly.
Then where are you going to pull the rabbit out of?
There is G.A. Boyd had a cool question, I think, which can be answered with social engineering. Honestly, like you could create a post and backdate it years and go tell them that, look, this is my image. We've been using this image. You guys are using my image. Please credit it to us. If they are a smart company and they know that how laws work, they're going to actually start linking to you in that situation. So they don't want a lawsuit.
Either that or they remove the image.
Yeah, or they remove the image, but that's one way that you could attempt to go grab it.
Or have a fake lawyer website that deals in copyright.
Exactly.
And send them a polite email from that. That's one that I've got. I know I'm not supposed to impersonate a lawyer and all that stuff, but hey ho, SEO is SEO, and we do some crazy ass stuff, but you've got to do what you've got to do to make it happen. What I would say is you don't have to actually go that deep. What you need to remember is the editor, the person that's got editorial access, is probably someone who just doesn't want any trouble anyway.
Yep.
So when you send the initial email out from Joe Schmo or whatever, that's my link. Do you mind just giving me a link credit for it or whatever? Then you know it's fine. So they normally just do it and get on with it. But if they do need a bit of a push,
that's one way to do it. And it's social engineering. Like if you're interested, there's really good books out there on it. I've seen this go to the point where a domain worth millions of dollars with a live website has handed out a password and been moved into a new GoDaddy account and then put onto the auction system because someone just sent an email to somebody and cleverly crafted some narrative for that person. And
you can definitely scare some people in emails.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's not necessarily ethical, but that's your choice if you do it that way. I mean, if it's not your image and you want to get the citation or the accreditation or
the link,
credit, whatever the hell you call it, then you're going to have to do something a little bit shady to do
it. Animal Nerds, you would need to give us a better question than that because, is your content good enough? Holly has kind of answered it, saying you need to hire some better writers if your stuff's flicking in and out of the top 100.
And if it's brand new and you're slamming it with links, I mean, it can be all over the place. It just depends on what's been done.
Holly might have been talking about Search Engine Journal, though, too.
Yeah.
Probably. It fits both.
It does fit both. It's a great answer.
Good answer,
Holly. Go ahead.
She's not even watching the show. She just commented that.
Bam!
You need to hire better writers. Well, that fits. It's brilliant.
It's if you're popping in and out of the top 100, you need to look at why that is. Check literally one of the questions. We'll do this right here, right now. One of the questions that came through was about the wrong country version, the wrong language showing in the SERPs, saying that they have all of the alternate tags set up correctly, and then stating that they're using IP redirection. Now, in this case, what ended up happening is that their IP list is failing, and they're not delivering the right content to Google for the different locations. And if you're redirecting Google to one language, but you have a canonical tag, usually that, in my experience, that 301 is going to take precedent over that canonical tag because you're moving it. So
it's hard to get them to read a canonical properly.
Yeah, the 301 is a much stronger directive in situations I've seen. And so what the point of that is that you might have technical issues, you might have link issues, you might be leaking page rank because of your templates. You really need to look at everything that's going on in the campaign to be able to answer a question of why you're in.
It could also be a single page site too. We don't know.
Right.
So it's just too many unknowns to.
And that's a good lead into the next one. Footer links are black hat.
I love footer links.
If you've been adding footer links with commercial anchor text at scale to manipulate results, Google will likely be able to identify those and penalize you for it.
Switch them to branded.
Yeah.
10-minute tier 2. That's what we use.
There's steps you can use to make that less likely, but realistically, it's rare that they're going to hit you for that in most cases. You want to be smart about your anchor text always anyways, and the manual team might give you a hard time if they stumble upon you, but I really wouldn't be too worried about the algorithm.
Also, I'd prefer to honestly, if you want to be safer, send a footer or a site-wide link to an internal page and then link out from there. You're not going to get as big of a push, but it's still going to push like a mofo. So, especially if the site is relevant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Craig, do you have footer links out there in your profiles or no?
Yeah, it's not something that I do a huge amount of these days. To be honest, I used to do it massively when I used to have a load of exact match domain names and all of that shit, and it was always just designed by. And to be honest, back in the day, I used to have it keyword like SEO Glasgow or whatever.
That's why web design, like old web design sites, are good to grab because they've got all those footer links already. It's usually branded too. If you're trying to rank for anything in the digital marketing arena, go out and look for old web design sites.
But I think for me, I just try and mix them up. I don't believe that footer links are as powerful as they once were. I'm pretty confident that they kind of have that they don't maybe give as much power as they once did. So for that reason alone, I've tried to make sure that most of the links I get are contextual, and but getting image links, sidebar links, footer links, whatever, just mixing it all up is obviously a wise thing to do. But as you say, always just be careful with that anchor text. I was always pretty aggressive with it in the past, and I have had a few slaps as a result. So
it's just so easy, you have it done like that. Mike, I know the general consensus and what people are supposed to say, but in your opinion, menu link versus sidebar link versus footer link, is there a difference? Would you prefer one over the other, or just get what you can get side-wide?
Modular wise, I think they are definitely valued by theory. They're valued differently. Mm-hmm. But I just wouldn't I wouldn't be concerned. I take the menu for many reasons, just because of the navigational element and the traffic that's potentially there. And that kind of skews what it would do, to be honest. But like in theory, and the way it's written in some places, then yes, that you're going to read it like you'd read a web page. Yeah. And rendered, not in the code necessarily, is what I've seen in a lot of cases. Because you can change that up. I mean, you can render the navigation in different locations and everything.
You can render it.
But they do render the page in text and as the browser renders.
Did we want to say the keyword that we ranked for with that one? Not the stun gun one, but the sub one. Yeah, Suboxone doctors near me. We ranked with one link.
Yeah.
One site-wide link. I can't remember if it was footer or sidebar.
And that was a mass page site too, dude.
It was, yeah. Covering how many? Probably 30,000 or so.
I need to.
It was about 30,000 locations, I think, that it was covering. And
what's that, Craig?
I was going to pick up on something you just said there. Aren't you guys doing stun gun stuff?
We did. Well, we saved the campaign, but yeah, we have before. That was funny. Because the story is someone that we were working with was like, man, I got six months worth of SEO fees. So his 6 month charge all at one time, and I think it was a $10,000 a month client, right, Mike?
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah. I think that's about where it was.
So it was So the dude got $60,000, waited 6 months, hadn't really done much with it. And I was like, I've got this gun site. It's Mass Page. Do you want a link from it? Because I was just using it as an example site and shit and cloaking it over. He's like, sure. So it was like it was around 30,000 because it was Lead Gadgets, so they were all the same amount of pages back in the day. And he's like, yeah, if you want to try it. So we sent one site-wide link over to the stun gun page on the client site, and it was in the 90s after 6 months, right? So one site-wide link, and I don't quote me on the anchor text, but I'm relatively confident that we used site-wide like stun gun or buy stun guns or something like that.
No, it was a site-wide. And here's the thing is Mass Page is freaking rad. Mass Page done correctly with the right lexicon is rad. It's like when we wrote, when we created SERPX, right? And on the other like cloaking tools that we've created over the past. When you pull in, like it evolves as time goes on. Like today,
with Lead Gadget, we weren't really doing lexicon because we weren't.
No, and SERPX was a stage of it. SERPX was a stage of it. It did what it did like right when it was released. Now it's a little bit out of date, but those topics, like when you start to pull Mass Page and you have the lexicon built correctly, you're creating a pool of relevance that not only ranks and generates revenue like the major campaigns like finance and rehab and shit that we work, but they also create amazing like pools of links and shit. So I think that it's something we were talking to someone recently in the industry that teaches a lot of this Mass Page, and it's cool how everything can be enhanced by utilizing the same tactics. We said you don't need to do Mass Page, you can do it on a single page, and that's true. When you combine it together and the tactics together, it does something even bigger. So as it evolves, like it just gets better and better. That's what's nice about SEO when done on the right system, I think. Go ahead.
I was just, to finish out the story. It went from page like spot 90 something, like 95, so on page 9, all the way up to middle of page 2 within like a week and a half, somewhere in there. Like one.
Yeah, it was about a week. I think it was about a week to a week and a half. Yeah.
So.
It was quick. It was it moved like the Yahoo link moved, honestly, but of course those aren't comparable. There's a different freaking type of thing. It's just
it's different. The Yahoo link, of course, isn't as laser targeted relevant wise, but Yahoo has a lot more power than one of my shitty Lead Gadget sites that was all about. But it was all about stun guns too. So
yeah, no, absolutely. This Live IRL fan had a cool comment about chapters. Chapters is something that like I've helped over the last since they released the actual moments in the SERPs and they started ranking the different moments. I've been helping different influencers kind of fix their video, and I will say that chapters named correctly, when you do like make your description the right way and you name it correctly, they freaking soar the rankings, dude, for sure. So this is not. The next comment was obviously a small trick, but you got to remember that some of these tricks sometimes kick ass. Like there was a trick for a while that I think it was Marco from Semantic Mastery showed me once, and it closed a long time ago because they got rid of editor. But you could literally just take any video, clone it in editor, boom, put it up in your own account, and then steal the rankings from any video there. And those kind of things pop up. That's what's cool about GMB. It's people talking about can't get GMB this, can't be GMB that. Well, I watch Brad and other people get that stuff all the time when other people aren't doing it because they sit down and they keep knocking at it and figuring out where the holes are and everything. So
we were messing with some in a specific category, messing with some name variations and shit. GMB is a little touchy right now, just because I've heard rumors that there's an update. I never know for sure if there is or not, but it seems like there is. So
all I know is that I'm glad you do it because it makes money, dude. So.
It does, yeah.
I've got a quick question on this YouTube shit, sort of relating to what Live IRL fans saying. So obviously it's saying here YouTube AI picks up search terms mentioned in the audio and the search terms along with.
That's why if you ever watch any of Chris Palmer's videos, I've checked out a few of them. He right away makes sure that he clearly says it, whatever search term that he wants to target. But go on.
Tell me this. Have you, Mike, I want to ask you, because you've probably done this, you ever added a second audio file at all to your videos?
I got a buddy who's doing something like that. I have not done it myself. Now, here's the thing. We've got to remember that Google has the Vision API. They have patents about images. The first patents Google ever wrote were about images. All video is a series of images, right? So you can find out what's going on with the YouTube algorithm and how to make these videos work by looking at the image patents. And realistically, it's the audio, it's the imagery that comes through, the text that comes through. It's like if you look at Brian Dean, that they made a change a bit ago where like it used to be that changing a title of a video would like de-rank you and all this shit. Well, that went out the door, a while back. So you'll see like videos that are saying 2021 that are just updated videos from in the past. But when you watch like people like that, watch what they're doing in their videos, watch what they're doing in their descriptions, because they're taking advantage of the patents for imagery in YouTube videos. So
you think switching out the like if I wanted to alter one from 2020 to 2021, I would put 2020 in the thumbnail, and of course you can switch the thumbnail out afterwards.
Yeah, you can do this now without issue. And the thing about the audio file, there's other things that you can do like that. Anytime you can stuff something, what I will say is this. I've not seen penalty from it. Anytime you can get more data into some sort of file, you always want to do that.
Or give them the option to stuff something, take it.
Or 0% opacity.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
So that's Vision directly. So Vision says text object landmark, right? So this is local, right? So text object landmark is how you get relevance in an image. The same thing goes for a video. So when you see Brian Dean up on screen talking about link building and everything he's saying is flying out like well edited, it's the white hat version of what you're talking about right now. So just watch the big producers like in different markets and see how they're stuffing content into their own videos. They're doing it. They might be doing it where you can't see it. So they might be doing some stuff you can't see, but you'll see it. Holly said something down here. We have this is software that we've created. This works very well. Like our students, we handed it out in mortgage, the one where we did like 10 figures in 10 months. That was all done with like imagery, like stuffed with hidden text, video stuff with hidden, like all of this stuff that you're talking about. It creates a relevance that you cannot create with just content, and it solidifies everything you're doing. So the YouTube optimization is huge because it affects what you're doing organically. This all comes together for your organic campaigns. So
and GMBs, it all ties together. Exactly. Vision is in pretty much everything at this point.
Yeah. It's in absolutely everything. Like go out there, start doing reverse image search. The patents are really interesting on them. Imagery helped us beat out NerdWallet in a market to outrank NerdWallet in some keywords for search different stuff in that campaign for mortgage and finance and shit. So same thing with YouTube, like those kind of things. Anytime, if you look at some of the data that passes, like when you watch the transfer, like you'll get ideas. I'm not going to go into it. It's not a YouTube show. But there's a lot of stuff that you can.
This is actually a YouTube show, Mike.
I guess it is a YouTube show. All you need to do is install YouTube Buddy, and you're good, bro. That's it.
Cool. I just wanted to ask that for my own benefit because that's something I'm playing around with just now. Yeah. So
let's have a talk, dude. There's fun stuff, dude. It's a fun freaking. There's a guy named Darren. No one really knows who dude is, but. Because he's not as cool as me, Darren, if you're watching. But this guy is just murdering it with this kind of stuff. So, it's cool. It's fun.
Interesting. But back to the black hat stuff.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. We did.
SEO tactics so they can hear us say it.
Yeah. Did we do hidden links yet? And I have something to say about this. So this says hidden links. Additionally, if you include enough irrelevant links, you'll give Google less reason to direct traffic. So this is more about, Craig, you mentioned it, like they devalue the footer links. They devalue links more than they penalize you at this point, right? And that's one thing to keep in mind when we think about black hat tactics that they're talking about. But here it says no hiding text behind an image, no keeping text off screen using CSS, no using font size of 0, no making one little character like a period a link.
We make a font size of 1.
Yeah, right? So here's the thing. Hiding text behind an image. Anytime you see any of these things they tell you can't do, like take the mindset of how can I do this and make it something beneficial for somebody who needs a screen reader or somebody with some sort of disability where I have to do this so that I can show somebody who needs glasses. Like if you have those types of excuses ready for the tactics you're using, you're okay. Like you will come back in, like if they come in manually, you're done, you're re-included. Like it works extremely well. We have tons of experience with dodging these kind of manuals when they
Mike is very good at coming up with excuses.
Very much.
He's our chief excuse officer, CEO.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. Hey, the re-inclusion of the 2500 was
that was pretty badass, yeah.
That was pretty.
That's why you're the CEO.
So I mean, hidden links, I guess I can't say I don't use them.
What do you think about, do you think it's devalued if you have the hypertext the same color as the regular text?
No, I do not. I think that if they find you manually, they'll do something. I don't think any of this stuff will trigger freaking algorithmical shit at all.
Talking about Black Hat, Holly is also trying to take out NerdWallet. So they
should have just all teamed up when we had that campaign, I suppose, but we don't have it anymore, so it's irrelevant.
So
safe links, they're talking about tactics I used to use, like literally are one I still use.
You want to walk through your tiered safe link building that you used to do with Trustflow? What was that? PB and Trustflow? You did? Yeah, with Jimmy.
It's kind of like what Jordan released that course. It's exactly what he's showing on that course. It's what we were selling. I was selling to him back in the day or whatever. It's just all the same. It's link building is just tiered shit, right? So the hidden thing is more so I think about just deceptive practices. I think, Holly, because like SAPE, yes, they hide it, but I hide my links so that I block bots, hide links from users so that they don't know what I'm doing and for monetary purposes. So content's crafted based on converting, and if a backlink is going somewhere that's going to hurt conversion, I don't want a user to see that backlink, right? So I'm going to hide that backlink. So there's a lot of implication when they talk about hidden links because there's a lot of use for it. There's also a lot of way to legitimize what you're doing. So it's just a matter, I think, of being ready for the excuse and being ready to tell them this is why it is this way. And the time-old excuse of I hired an SEO and I didn't know it was happening does work sometimes, right? So I think that's my take on that there. Comment spam. This is a good one. We've touched on this quite a bit. Comment spam. You may be able to share a link to your website in the comment section of a website, but you should avoid doing so unless it's relevant. Otherwise, you risk being penalized as a spammer is using comments to build links.
Honestly, a good link building campaign you can do entirely with comments, but you've just got to dig a lot. But they bring up the relevance thing. It does make 100% sense to go out and find relevant links and get a link from those in the comments. So, I mean, that's legit. Comments is a legit link building strategy.
Anytime you can get a link from something on page 1 of Google, it's super solid. And this is one way to do it. And we've all discussed on here that they've said that if you remove comments from your page, you're gonna break your ranking, basically.
Taking content, and that's valuable content, in my opinion. If they're real comments, they're solid. I mean, make your comments make sense, not wonderful blog, I would love to talk to you, something, dumb shit like that. Don't do that. But if you're doing a legit comment in a link building campaign, then it can push.
Now, if you don't know what you're doing, just don't go out there and fire up a piece of software and shoot a bunch of shit on there.
Don't do like Scrapebox in mass or anything.
Yeah, sir, and all that stuff. Like those are skill sets. Like lists are important. Like the tools that are out there that people use at work. There are people that use those all the time. They run. I mean, Holly, I think you had a lot of servers, or you might still. Like I know that at one point, I think we were running like 20-something servers with freaking software on it for just. I think it was just commenting and ping back type stuff, but. What is the favorite way to build links to guest posts that we've done? And that's always going to be a pre-index link, man, like straight up, like stuff at CID, digital, like stuff at Gary's crap. Like anytime, like when you can go out and get something that's pre-indexed. So like curated links, niche edits, they call them all these different things, but It really comes down to something that's in the index, right? That's already crawled, in my opinion.
Yeah. Holly's talking about our servers, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And Scrapebox is honestly the Swiss Army knife of SEO. If you can play freaking chess in it, it's something you should have.
I've used the shit out of it to get GMBs in the past, but
yeah, it's the
good
goal
to have on hand. It's worth the what, $97, something like that.
Yeah, and it's lifetime, dude. Spot on right here. It's the gold. Like back when Grindstone was first coming out, back when dude, the lists that we were running were freaking nuts. Like these are text files that were hundreds of gigs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane when you're running it. It's not something I would say throw up and stick on your laptop and start running a piece of software. This next question is great, dude. X-Rummer an Hreffer, dude. Like they made some seriously cool updates, bro. Like seriously, dude. So it's still the same thing, dude. You want your lists in a good spot. You want to be running shit the way you should. Forum links, man, are the best thing in the world, if you ask me. I love forum links more so than freaking blog posts, right? They're awesome. The traffic that can come with them are great. You know, one thing, Craig, did you use RSS a lot at all at any time?
Yeah.
So I used to feed the forums with my feeds, man, like especially the ones that have the features where if you post it displays your latest post.
Yeah.
It's the best indexer you can ever build, you know, like it's just solid indexation. I mean, now it's the API. Back in the day, it's just, I always loved it. I did a lot more with feeds. What'd you do with feeds, dude?
Similar to you. I mean, to be honest, I was doing that shit more just to get exposure, brand awareness, get indexed, as you say. I wasn't really doing anything crazy with it. But where there's an opportunity to share that, it's like Crunchbase just now or anything else, you know, not in the same level. But obviously, if you have your Twitter and everything else all tied into there, that shit, all your newspaper articles, all your PR goes onto Crunchbase. Why would you not do it? It's just the way I see it, it's a brand building exercise, and you just got to have your shit out there in as many places as you can. So yeah, I was just doing it from that point of view. There was no, you know, crazy ass strategy behind it other than purely indexing and throwing shit out there, to be honest. But also on this comment here from Attila, obviously saying Scrapebox and X-Rumor still works in 2021. I think a lot of guys just assume some of these tools are dead.
It depends on how you use them. I mean, the way that we used to use them, in 2012, 2013, something like that, you can't use them like that anymore. You can't just point and shoot, you know, point and fire or whatever. But
understanding SEO is always a good thing when you're using it. Well,
Scrapebox works for certain purposes. I don't know about X-Rummer, but I'm sure it does for certain purposes. So
all of these tools work very well, and I think sometimes the older tools are sometimes the best ones, like Scrapebox. You know, but yeah, don't ignore them. I hate people that come around and say that can't work. You know, where the fuck are you doing SEO from 2010? And you know, you get these comments, and I think I mentioned that a few weeks ago. I talked about blog comments on something, and people basically battered me for it. What the fucking? You know, I'm like, are you fucking retarded?
You can rank with blog comments from Fiverr if you really want to, if you know what you're doing.
That's the thing. What you do with them, people just assume it's some crappy spam like junk. That, you know, that's not what anyone's ever suggesting at the moment. Obviously, it used to be, but you know, it's how you do it and where you implement it.
Dude, I think the best tools are like Zenoposter, like iMacros, Win Automation, anything where you can.
You can do so much with Zeno. It's
automation. That's what a tool is. Like Scrapebox, X-Rummer is just automation that someone marketed, right? You can do this by yourself, like for yourself, and it is something that will always work. These tools will always work. Like straight up. Yes, like what Holly put up. This is 100% true. Like content in a blog. I mean, we've talked about ranking multiple sites on the single page through blog comments in certain systems. Content is content. Like if it's relevant and you're doing things right. When Holly says a list, like if you know what works for you when you go buy a link, then you know what works for you when you build a link. and you can use a tool to help you build that link. Now, here's the thing.
And vice versa too. If
Yes.
you know what works when you buy a link, you also know what works if you go out and actually build a link too, if you have to.
Yeah.
Or however you reverse of what you just said.
Yeah. No. And the I think the thing to understand is that it means what your skill set is where you want to go. I would not recommend anyone sit out there and just learn to use a tool. But if you have that skill set or you're quick with servers and things like that, and you can automate what you're doing, then go automate it. Like I've automated like link purchases in the past because it made my time go further, right? That can be an SEO tool. If I write something that automates buying a link, I've now got an SEO tool that's now doing my SEO for me, and it's building solid ass links. Like think outside the box with your systems and automate what you can when you can. Those tools that we're mentioning, there's private ones, there's all that stuff. There's solid stuff out there that you can do with all of this. And scraping is just always the best, honestly. The data you can pull out of that, what you can build.
I mean, data. If you look at it, the biggest tech companies in the world, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, all of those, they are a data company. You know, they're collecting data, they're feeding data in. You know, it's all about like just scraping data, gathering data. You like the word pixel, so I'll let you say it. I don't want to say it for you, Mike. Pixel. And you know, it's all data, all information and the ability to organize and then deploy that information from there. That's all SEO is. That's all anything is.
So there's a question about building and scraping lists. I don't really want to get into like how to scrape and footprints and how to use tools and stuff, but just there's a lot of data out there and a lot of information on how to scrape approprietely.
I would just dive into the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about advanced queries. You're talking about CMS things. There's websites out there that are just gems, like for like lead gen. Build if you're doing SEO, like and you're going out there based on different technology that people use, and just finding everyone that uses that technology. You can use the same techniques that you use for like lead scraping for actual link building and list building. So.
Yeah. And there was a forum links question a few minutes ago too.
Yeah.
The best way, because I started when I was selling the headers and stuff in the automotive niche. The best way to get links and do all that for forums is one, by advertising, and then two, you'll have your own subset within the forum where people can you can post links. Within terms of service of the specific site. It seems like I'm in a car wash. Can you guys hear that or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can now.
He's doing the window right outside.
So forums, and when you jumped out, we I don't know if you heard it too, because that's the link I would want. I would want the banner ad. I'd want a subsection if I can. Now, what I was talking about was the way we were doing it is forum seeding services. Like, and they still out there. You can hire someone to seed forum posts for you. And what you're doing is you really do want to go out there and have agent accounts posting for you. And I had staff that if it's forums that take RSS, we'd shove the category RSS into those forums. We had lists of forums that were active. People would make posts, and the whole reason was to get that post out there responding to something or usually not putting something new up because we were using it for certain like indexing purposes and traffic purposes. So it would usually be a cleverly crafted response to a new.
Typically, you want to find the answers. You want to answer the question that will lead people back to your product or service.
Think of it like real marketing, like not from a spam standpoint. That's how I have always kind of used it. But
that's what I was doing before I could spell SEO.
Right. Exactly. You still can't spell SEO, dude.
What's the next black hat tactic, Michael?
I was reading this comment from Live Out. Like, dude's dropping like interesting stuff, dude, in here. Like, it's all stuff that and I think you're talking about the overlay stuff, bro. And yeah, no. So we've used like IP redirection and content delivery to like literally like bring people. Like I did this once in a campaign for cars. People would come to the site from porn sites because I'd have a cloaked in porn video. and I had the banner ads refreshing in the header. So they would stay and they would watch the porn video for like a few minutes. But like,
why a few minutes?
Like anyone that was not from that porn website was seeing the video about the cars, right? So like most people were seeing this, and then other people were seeing the porn video. And this was not a play for SEO. This was a play for revenue. And I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but it worked. Like when you get creative, like I had a developer telling me this stuff won't work. You can't do this. And don't listen to people. Just do shit if you understand SEO and money. Like try stuff because it works. Like I bring a percentage of my people in, and they'd watch porn, and then the majority of them would be watching the advertising campaign, right? So yeah, a couple of minutes is kind of long, dude, for that kind of video, actually.
Yeah, I usually don't watch them that long for whatever reason.
So I mean, there's clever things you can do with these tactics that we talk about. That also works, like simple iframes like that. They're not only are they creating the revenue, they're also creating that double way juice flow for whoever's advertising. Like you can use that, dude. You distract the shit out of me, dude. Let me
double
talk
wave,
about it, bro. My dad's from New York. It's my excuse. It's just get clever with these tactics. Like there's certain sites out there, like gallery sites that allow iframes. And it's like a certain CMS. So if you have a piece of software that posts those types of links, do the scraping based on those CMSs and those footprints, and use the clever tactics, not just what the stuff does by default, because most good tools have ways to customize what you're doing with templates. And so get creative and use your SEO knowledge to make those tools operate on like turbo.
Gizmo plans. McShifty is classic. Nothing but classic. Crazy tactics. Too funny. I'm pretty sure this is him being mild as well. I know he's got dirtier stories to tell, but obviously not for YouTube.
They would put him in legal trouble, probably.
I haven't always been so smart. I guess I've never been smart.
Me neither. I'm still waiting. They say wisdom comes with age, but it's not fucking working for me. Yeah.
Dude, I was wandering around today, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, dude, I'm sure glad you're in my life, because I don't know what the fuck I would be doing in life without you here. Like I couldn't even get to my office, dude. I got distracted like 15 times trying to walk out the damn door, dude. It was great.
Yeah.
Man, there's an illness. You've got to have some touch of some fucking illness, ADHD or some shit, man.
Oh no, I have ADHD, dude.
Yeah, you've got something, man, for sure. But
no, I'm straight up. That's where a lot of my fucking problems in life come from, dude.
My favorite way to do outreach is to pay someone else to do the outreach.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't do cold outreach myself.
It's you've got to weigh up the cost of the tools to, if you're going to use Pitchbox or anything else for outreach. You've got to weigh up the cost and the time rather than just paying a guy who's done it all for you and pay him £100 odd a link or whatever. That's when you need to, as Mike said very cleverly earlier on, trying to free up the time for you, and you don't want to be sitting doing cold outreach because the return rate or the success rate is very, very low. So
you could spend the additional 2 minutes that you save from not doing outreach and just buying the link, watching Mike's videos.
We just float around Craig, dude.
They hang around here, but you can also go to nfgseo.com.
Mm-hmm. And then
number 7.
Yeah. And then same YouTube channel name, NFG SEO. Just Google NFG SEO.
Grab the free training over at mininettraining.com or whatever, because that shit's free.
Too.
Yeah. So you can check them out, those 3 places, or stalk them. They are around on the internet, but I'm not going to say go and stalk them on Facebook and shit, because I know what it's like when my Facebook inbox has got 100 messages in it every morning with people trying to sell me guest posts and talk shit to me.
I know what it's like. I just don't answer anyone.
I don't check it. My wife doesn't let me. Not allowed to
So yeah, that's Animal Nerds. That is the course, the group, and everything else.
nfgseo.com/7 is a link, and you'll get a 7-day free trial to our
we need to do a webinar
monthly training where we have a webinar each month. We've got some base training, but really the value is, in my opinion, in the webinars. That's where my
base training is like freaking 90 videos over like freaking years, dude. That's funny that you see that. What the hell was I going to say? I'm going to go on to the next thing because I lost.
Let's go on to the next thing.
Overused anchor text. So they're saying Black Hat. Check out the latest articles on our backlink awesome blog. The goal of our awesome blog is to provide the awesome blog of XXX company.
Who's trying to rank for awesome blog?
Dude, these guys they got some good research going on in their teams there. It says it may make sense to match your page title every time you share a link to it because the title is what it's about and consistency could imply relevancy. But from Google's perspective, this is also what it would look like if you were lazily spamming. That's kind of a cool point. It says instead you should make your anchor text brief. So here's the thing. Out of what's his face, Mueller's Hangouts, directly out of their mouths, it tells us to link to people with descriptive links or descriptive anchors. That means like literally build your lexicon of relevance through your anchor text. We all know it's more profitable to change your freaking anchor text than it is to keep the same one all the time. It makes you more money. And that's honestly, I think the simplest way to say it. Don't worry about percentages. Go build shit to bring in money. And so don't worry about spamming the single anchor text. Do what we do, like build like a certain amount of anchor text of the stuff you want to push. Let the rest of it come in naturally or use title or some crap like that and don't overthink it. It's not rocket science, but I wouldn't spam that like that. I don't think it's a black hat technique, but what are your thoughts, guys?
That's just proper link management, in my opinion. I don't think it's black or white.
Nah, I don't know why that's on there, to be honest. It's bullshit.
Oh, here's a good one. Malicious backlinks. Some black hat SEO practitioners will try to use Google's penalty system to advance their agenda by having websites that you wouldn't want to associate with linked to you to drag down your page rank. For this reason, Google created a form to help you disavow links. This way, when you go through your backlinks, you can disentangle yourself from any undesirable domains. Now, here's the thing. I know my competitors have just hacked me and taken my website down instead of worrying about building a whole bunch of backlinks for me.
Some niches, yeah.
Like they don't necessarily tend to build me backlinks. I mean, people do it. Craig, you had a situation where you had to disavow because of a manual. Basically, was like you got a warning, you got a letter,
I got a partial penalty 18 months after someone daily was slamming my website with GSD or some shit. At the moment, it's still happening to me just now. They were slamming 1 million links a month. If you go and check my website out on Ahrefs, that's down to 500,000 just now. But literally, there's no warning, no penalty. I have disavowed a lot of the garbage. I'll be honest, but yeah, I think Google can figure that shit out. What's going on?
That's the important part between a penalty versus just devaluing the links. I mean, they did that in part to try and cut out a large portion of negative SEO.
They missed something in there too. Like, so they said trying to drag down your page rank. Now, I don't know what they meant by that, but page rank's been updated to be about relevance. So if it's irrelevant stuff, then they might, I hope they're meaning that it will make, kind of screw with your relevance. But it's not really going to drag your page rank numbers down, honestly. But it's cleverly worded. The next thing is PBNs, which is dear to my heart. PBNs are websites that link to each other. They used to be much more prevalent in the in the 90s and early 2000s, particularly amongst fan pages for different TV shows. I wonder if musicians and movie stars used them because they work. They're not necessarily a bad thing, but web rings are considered a link scheme when they're designed to manipulate algorithms. So here's the key right there. They have a link wheel in this diagram, guys. They've got a link wheel. They've got everything, and they say they're not necessarily a bad thing. I think what they're talking about are publisher sites, like all the PBNs that everybody builds that literally manipulate algorithms. They're not a bad thing, but then if someone else does it, they're a bad thing. I guess is what they're saying, because it's no different when I build it than if, say, ABC builds this shit for their different TV shows, dude, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts on PBNs as a black hat tactic and all that shit?
For me, I've used PBNs for many years, and it's one of my favorite things. I've utilized it very well. I think there's the terminology PBN, there's two different sides to it. Obviously, the PBNs that are publicly sold everywhere to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and building up your own PBN, which is a private blog
That
network.
would be a public blog network then at that point.
So, what I call a PBN and what that person that's writing that is calling a PBN are two different things. So that's the way I look at it. And I'm still using PBNs to this.
Mini nets and PBNs have made, I've seen them do the biggest numbers in campaigns out of all campaigns ever.
Both the Spock Zone site that we mentioned earlier and the Stun Gun site that we mentioned earlier, both were links from MiniNet/PBN style sites. So
when you can take a PBN and literally take one link from a single site in a PBN, point it at something and rank for a pharmacy term, I have to say they work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that PBNs over the years have literally made me millions of pounds. So long live PBNs.
I love PBNs.
Yeah.
Mini nets are rad. PBNs are rad. So here's the thing. You just got to do them right. And there's a question. Attila has a good question about PBNs. Do you guys hire writers? How long do they take to deliver content? What do you pay them per word? No. Most of the time, depending on what it is, it's mashup content, and then it's also paraphrased and then injected with lexicon. So there are, Holly has distracted me again. So to me, I have done this in campaigns for people that are major brands like auto companies, alcohol companies. Yes, in that case, if you have the budget, you can, but it's not required for you to do it this way. Go out and use Quillbot, paraphrase your content, grab your competitor's content, mash it up, throw it in a paraphraser, throw it on, automate that, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
And then, I mean, if you want to pay a writer to do it, you can, but you're going to be paying 5+ cents a word for a decent writer that's US based, that speaks English, all that stuff. You're going to be paying. That puts you at $25 for a 500 word article, which can get pricey if you're doing it. Ask them what Quillbot is. QUIL, right? QUIL or
QUILL, yeah, Quillbot. There's a spam site, and then there's the legit site. It's cheap. You can paraphrase 10,000 words for $10 a month. It was something we used years ago for a cloaking piece of software that was like freaking 5,000 a month back then, but it's now a hell of a lot cheaper because the technology's evolved. Basically anything where you're creating content that's human readable, that is unique out of that. I mean, we're seeing insane, like when you take that and you put it into clusters, like internally on site itself and off site, you're creating a backlink. Like take the whole thing we talked about with redirects. A 301 redirect from a page to another page with my hands can pass a range of page rank, right? It can pass 100%, it can pass 0%, right? It's dependent on how relevant page 1 is, or page A is to page B. The same thing goes for content on your website or externally from your website. That's why duplicate content has to be kind of suppressed, because it's exactly relevant to what you are trying to rank for, and relevance ranks, right? So if you could just put up a duplicate piece of content and rank to it and link to it, in theory, without all the rank score modifiers and everything else they've added on to the algorithm, that's the perfect backlink, right? Okay, so if you can take that and almost have that and say have it 90% unique, but actually from a readable standpoint and a relevant standpoint, but then like not duplicate, like it's down at 20%, it's a hell of a lot better link than if you just throw something up that's somewhat relevant, okay?
Paul Hogden does that all the time when he talks. The hands.
Oh, really?
Motherfucker, yeah. He didn't like it when I called him jazz hands, but
you said jizz hands.
Yeah. Elton.
Throw up mini net. training.com for these guys because they're asking a lot of questions. It is free. Go get that. And we use that process to generate over 10 freaking figures last year alone. I mean, literally over $1 billion freaking dollars in gross in a single campaign, actually, with freaking PBN.
And that is, there was a question whether it was that you just had up, Craig. It was whether it was expired or auction. I go with expired because I can get them like that, and set it up. So I've got a specific, way of doing that.
Yeah, you want to take advantage of the history of a domain name. Starting from scratch, of course you can do it, but it's harder work. Why the fuck would you want to do that? So
plus, if you're staying within your niche and you want to use the old content, more than likely you typically can,
If you throw up a website and you say like it's part of a campaign, like you're doing affiliate, you throw up a website for a keyword in the category of the main website, and you look at it like, I'm going to rank this website for these long tail keywords and make revenue from that website. If you do everything like that through automation, however you're doing it, you've built an amazing backlink. It doesn't matter if you start from scratch or from expired if you do it that way. If you go expired, which we recommend when you can, that's the way to go. However, that network I just mentioned was actually 80% new domains that generated 10 figures within a year.
They were all fucking EMDs.
EMDs, dude. EMDs last year generating tons of revenue through the methods we're talking about. So the questions, there's tons of good questions, but we're out of time, dude. Like,
we are.
Bring them back.
Mike's smoking a turkey leg. He's got to get back to it.
But there was a lot of stuff on PBNs, mini nets, call them whatever you want. Do check out the guy's free course, minettraining.com, if you do want to see how these guys do it. Sadly, Brain Boggler, you want to rank a keyword, which is a permanent keyword like call center job in New York, but you're seeing OLX, Indeed, and LinkedIn. You can outrank these websites with a bit of time and effort, so do not let the fact that it's LinkedIn.
You can do it.
Anyone can do it, so do not let big Indeed and everything else put you off, because a lot of these websites are not super optimized.
Yeah.
And also,
I'm going to try to save that question for next week because I like that one and I want to go into it. So
yeah,
remember.
Come back next week, Brain Boggler, and we can dig down on it. And also, thank you very much, Holly, for your $20. Guys, before we go, do check out Mininet Training. Do make sure you give us a little like and subscribe to the channel. And obviously, check out the guys over at NFG.
Go get the free money from ODYS as well, because we're talking about PBNs. And if you want to do crap right, these guys can really facilitate that. Like, no joke.
Yeah, check out, sign up. You'll get a £500 bonus today as long as you sign up before the end of March. The link's below. And utilize something that has some power and history if you want to play around with PBNs as well. So check them out. But on that note, guys, we will catch you all next week.
That'd be it. Thanks, guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen.